Call the meeting to order. Please stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
That's God.
Okay. Our first item up is to hold a moment of silence for a member of our community who recently passed, Joe Wade.
Yep. So I think I don't think most of us all knew Joe. He was a longtime township resident, but a resident that was not only active but loved Horsham Township. And at the end of the day, he didn't care who you were, what you were involved with. As long as you were a Horsham resident, he loved you. And he loved this community. He was one of our greatest ambassadors and cheerleaders of this community. He was a former Hatfield Horsham School Board member, former Township Police Pension Board member, and also currently on the Horsham Land Redevelopment Authority for the former Willow Grove Navy base. So he was a very active resident, and it would always have a story. If you bumped into him, you would first either get a very enthusiastic handshake or a very big hug. Always a smile. Always a smile. And then you'd get a Joe story. And he'd have a story about one of his children and some accomplishment or something that he was proud of that they did or just recently happened in their lives. Or you would get a Horsham story about how great Horsham is and what a great community we have and what great residents we have. And it was constant, nonstop. Sometimes, if you see him a lot, you'd hear he'd repeat some of the stories, not knowing that he already told you the story, but a really wonderful person and a great resident that really cared about the community, and cheerleader. He was one of our best cheerleaders and ambassadors. He would never, if anyone had anything negative to say, he wouldn't approach them in a defensive way. He'd want to talk to them. And talk about their feelings and talk about why they feel that way. And just an overall great guy. And unfortunately, at the age of 74, unexpectedly, he passed away last week. His funeral is this Friday, but we will certainly miss him as a resident and one of our ambassadors of the township.
Just want to conclude our moment of silence by mentioning that our thoughts and prayers are with the entire Wade family. Sean also served on council with us and was able to fly back before his father passed. And, we are grateful for the Wade family in our community, and Joe will certainly be missed. Thank you.
So the next item up on our agenda is an opportunity for questions and comments from the public, but I will just note that if there are any questions or comments on the public hearing that will happen next, to just reserve those. There will be time for public comment and question on that item during that portion. But anything else, yes, please come up to the mic and just state your name and address for the record, please.
I just want to pass these out. Excuse me? Thank you, sir. Hello, thank you for your service.
A little button
That
on
might-
the bottom.
That's not turned on.
Hello, and thank you for your
Oh,
service.
Sorry.
oh, that's not connected.
Yeah, could you just go to the standing one?
Sorry.
No problem. Hello, and thank you for your service to our community. My name is Karen Van Hoven. I've lived in Horsham for 34 years. I live at 3 Robbins Circle in Horsham. I'm here to talk about the fireworks on Horsham Day. And propose that perhaps you might consider a drone show or a laser light show, because fireworks, well, besides the noise, and the noise can be very disturbing to all of our wildlife, to many domestic animals, to people with PTSD, to people with autism, it can be really triggering. Moreover, the pollution, the chemical toxins that come, they're clouds that just descend. They pollute our air, our ground, and our water. And drone shows and laser light shows have become very popular. They're really awesome. And it's something I just thought we might want to consider for next year. Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much for coming and discussing this, and we will take your consideration. Thank you. Is this on the noise ordinance or different? Okay.
Good evening, Rhett Turner, Cedar Hill Road, 524. Okay, I wanted to ask you to do something about the situation on the power line trail and other trails in the township, I guess, with the situation with electric vehicles going on there and all kinds of vehicles going on there and going very fast, and they're big and they're heavy and they're dangerous, and they take away from the experience that the trail was meant for, which is to get some peace and quiet in a nice quiet atmosphere. So that's what I wanted to say, basically.
What other, Rhett, just so I understand, so I'm clarified, e-bikes, I know what they are, but what other vehicles are you witnessing on the trail?
Well, scooters that are electric,
Okay.
electric scooters. If I could think of electric skateboards, that kind of thing. And as far as the bikes, they're really blurring the line between electric bicycles, so-called electric bicycles, and electric motorcycles. Some of them are really big and heavy, and they go fast.
Yeah, I do believe that e-bikes are not allowed on the trail. So when you see one, you need to call 911. The hard thing is by the time you call 911, you talk to the dispatcher gets the car going in that direction, the e-bike's long gone. But what has to happen is our officer has to catch the e-bike like red-handed.
Well, what happens if I've seen two officers on bikes that have seen an e-bike just go speeding wide, and they just keep talking. They haven't done anything. Like, what do we do in that situation? Two officers on two officers on mountain bikes. Brendan McVeigh, 30 Windmere Drive. Two officers on mountain bikes that see the scooter going that fast as anything, and they're just talking, and then they just go down towards Babylon. What are we supposed to do in that situation? We need officers on those things to catch them, knowing that the officers are not going to go up, uphill terrains and, act like it's X Games. They'll be on the trail to catch them so that this doesn't happen. I literally was walking my dog behind the officers on the mountain bikes. They're just talking, and then they see it, and they couldn't give less than a damn. So I just wanted to attest that I have seen this in person.
Okay, thank you.
I saw it just today. It looked like some young fellows, there were three of them, and they're doing wheelies all the way down the power trail. Thank you.
And I know we just put out, re-advertised some.
Yeah, we put some stuff out on social media. Yeah.
About this topic, and we do have signage posted along the power line trail about.
We do, but that we'll have to review that to see. I believe it says no motor vehicles.
Okay. So maybe we can clarify some signage.
Electric bike is a motor vehicle. So we might have to get more specific for those e-bike riders.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you for the comment, and I think that we have some ways that we can start to look into addressing this. And go ahead.
And another thing on the power line trail, on the Jarrett Road section, past the cornfield, I can literally see trees that are literally going to be rotted away at the base, and they're dead up top, and they have some growth on top. Is there any way that Public Works can be required to go there in the fall to X out trees that should be cut down? Because I had to email them on Sunday. There was a tree across Jarrett Road by the junkyard that they wouldn't have known about unless I let them know. and I've let them know about 2 or 3 things that they have let go for like 2 weeks, and I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna let them know. I don't think they come down and assess the trees that have been falling down for the last 2 or 3 years, ever since the tornado has come and made that place, termites holding hands for some of the trees. Thank you.
Follow up with Public Works on,
Yep.
on that? Great. Okay. Okay, so we will move on to the public hearing for tonight on the proposed ordinance amending the code of Horsham Township, establishing a new chapter 153 for noise. So good evening. Council will now hold a hearing on an ordinance which, if adopted, would amend the Horsham Township Code by adopting regulations for noise. The purpose of the ordinance is to establish definitions, prohibitions on noise and time limitations, noise measurement locations and devices, exceptions, fines, penalties, violation, and enforcement provisions related to noise disturbances in the township. Township Council has been committed to establishing a noise ordinance. The draft ordinance was developed by our staff, Township Council, and feedback from residents. A hearing on the ordinance has been advertised for this evening. This hearing is not an adjudicative hearing, so no stenographer is present this evening. This hearing is your opportunity to learn about the ordinance and let council know if you have any opinions on the proposed ordinance. I will first ask the Township Solicitor, John Wacko, for a brief synopsis of the proposed ordinance, and then there will be an opportunity for comment from council, and then I will ask for public comment.
Thank you, President Slav. The ordinance before you tonight, if enacted, I think will be the most comprehensive noise ordinance that any municipality in the area will have. It does 2 things primarily, which makes it, I think, a very effective ordinance. First, it establishes time limitations on both weekends and weekdays to provide a little bit longer times at the nighttime and a little bit extended time in the morning for a quiet time, that during those periods of times there would be a plainly audible standard that would be in effect that essentially is a defined term that says it's any sound that can be clearly detected, tracked, or heard by a person with normal unaided hearing faculties. So it will establish essentially quiet hours throughout the township on persons' properties. During the non-quiet hours or in between, it will establish decibel level reading limitations that are different in residential districts and non-residential districts that would be applicable during the daytime, and average LEQ, average SPL readings, which is more of an on-average sound noise requirements, which would then allow the police to go with a certified A-weighted sound pressure level device that they're able to then measure to see if those decibel levels are in violation, depending on whether or not they're in a residential district or non-residential district, and therefore would be able to support noise violations during the day that are exceeding what is established as those maximum levels. Those levels were taken by looking at comparisons to other municipalities that are similarly situated to Horsham in the area. I think we will wait, if it's enacted, we'll make sure that they are the right. If it seems like it's too low, we can adjust. If it seems like it's too high, we can adjust, depending on the situations that we face here in Horsham. There are a number of exceptions that are provided related to just general government emergency activities. I think there are all reasonable exceptions that we either are not trying to exclude the noise, or we are not able to legally exclude those noises. And there are specific other provisions that specify where the noise measurements locations are taken from, the requirements for that measurement instrument, specific prohibitions on ongoing animals and bird noises, motor vehicle noises, and again, there are the nighttime and weekend hours related to a number of specific itemized operations that you might anticipate creating unreasonable noise during those nighttime, daytime hours. So it's a comprehensive ordinance. It's the first of its kind. We do have a similar, I would say, more technical provision in our zoning code, which also remains in place. This does not conflict with this, but the good thing about this is that if enacted, it would then give the opportunity for the Horsham Police to then enforce these provisions as local ordinance violations and then issue penalties for any violations. Right now, we don't have anything of the type, so this is a great first step in favor of making sure that neighbors are respecting other neighbors' rights of quiet time and enjoyment of their properties.
For that summary. Is there any comment or questions from the council on this? I know we have discussed for a while now on our end, but I'll pause and give the opportunity for anyone to.
Just wanted to say I appreciate all of the effort, the work that staff put into this, especially taking all of the feedback and comments from the last meeting with public comment on this topic. I'm seeing a lot of the updates regarding some of the concerns that were expressed, some of the adjustment of time, which hopefully will make it easier to follow for our police, that it's not too varied as well. So thank you for all of that effort.
I made this comment when you first introduced the ordinance that I think we've worked on this for a few months now, and we've heard from a lot of people, ourselves, and as well as some people out in the audience, as well as people that just emailed us. So I'll say the comment again that this is, when I say it's not a perfect ordinance, it's a very good ordinance, but I say perfect only because we look at it, this ordinance is for 17.3 square miles. It's not for a neighborhood, it's not for a parcel or a property, it covers 17.3 square miles with 27,000 people. So we did very good at addressing a lot of things, but we could not address everything. So it's not perfect in that way because some of the things that people brought to our attention just wouldn't work legally. But as John pointed out, it is a very excellent start to something that we've never had in Horsham for the quality of life for our residents in Horsham. So again, probably none of us, including myself and all the 5 members of council, are got everything everyone said and commented and wanted in it, but it's a very good start for us. And an ordinance is John and as Ms. Laff pointed out, that can be amended in the future.
And I just want to also thank all of our members of the community who spoke up and advocated for this, made sure to put it on our radar, and made sure to put it on our radar in our way that it was the prioritized item for ordinances this year. So with that, I will welcome any comments from the public.
My name is Pat Dollarton. I live at 17 Ember Lane in Horsham. Basically, I know that a lot of people have gone to the trouble of recording the noise violations in their neighborhood. Are they able to present those to the police? Like say they record it, the police come out, everything's quiet. Can they say, look, this was just recorded? Will that count as evidence? I guess I have to ask you.
Or that's to our township solicitor.
Sure.
Or a solicitor.
I mean, there is a provision in here that states that the noise from any of these not the exceptions, the noises made during those quiet time hours that have that daily audible standard.
Yeah. I'm
That
assuming
disturbs.
people would have
Sure.
like date and time on their recording.
And if there are 2 or more residents who can agree as to the times and durations of those noises, and they reside in separate residences located across the property line from whoever's making that noise,
Right.
that's sort of a prima facie evidence, meaning it's sort of a bottom line establishment that yes, there is a problem here of a noise disturbance in violation of that chapter of this code. From a practical point of view,
Yeah.
as a result of that, before the police would would probably take steps to move forward on that. They would need assurances that both people that were there would appear at court and would also testify to what they heard. It always helpful to have videos.
Right.
I would think, though, if you have the videos, you would still want to call the police as well to try to see if it's still going on at that point in time. It's always stronger, but that's certainly a good start.
Okay.
And
It's not me, it's for a friend.
well, for anyone, I mean, for anyone in the public that's out there. Ultimately, it's one thing to be able to cite somebody.
Yeah, yeah.
You got to then prove it at court, and that's, we'd like to be able to prove it at court as well.
Thank you.
Hi, my name's Robin Abramo, and I live at 924 Tennis Avenue. And we live between Paradise and Somerset. And we have like two different people who are kind of using their properties as businesses. One on Paradise where they sell tickets for parties. I don't know what's in the provision, or what's in this whole thing. I just found out you were doing this meeting. But I know we've called the police on several occasions. I'm sure everyone's aware of that, but that seems like a very odd way to use your property. They literally advertise, sell tickets, and have a party with a DJ and all kinds of stuff. And then on Somerset, they're utilizing their property as a day camp where there's like 10 to 12 children that are there all day, screaming, yelling, swimming, trampolines, what have you. And we're kind of sandwiched right in between the two. So it's not a like after 10. I don't know if that's I know there's like quiet hours. I've looked up so many times, like, do we have anything to say here? Is there anything we can do about this? But it happens during the day. The people with the camp, they have a stereo system that is all through their backyard that is like our yard. It's like if they're blaring their music, we're listening to everything that they're doing. So I don't know what all is involved.
Right. I know our code enforcement's working on both issues, and those are more. This might fit them but there are more zoning issues, zoning violation issues that our code enforcement is working on. That day camp, they have sent a violation letter to that property owner that they're in violation of the township zoning code. The Paradise Drive, we're trying to monitor. I think it's mostly on. I haven't heard of anything this year.
Yeah, no, it has been kind of quiet this
so
summer,
knock on wood. We did approach her last year, just verbally, and told her what she was doing. It was a zoning violation. We're monitoring. She usually puts it on TikTok.
Yeah, no, there's
we're trying to
Facebook.
monitor social media to see if, but our code enforcement is working both of those issues.
Okay. Is there any type of regulations around people's sound systems it's lovely to have music in your yard, but when it's like, if we're having people over or we're just trying to be in our space, it's.
Yeah, there's decibel limits for during the daytime as well. So if none of these other items are addressed via code enforcement or it continues and they just play music, there are daytime hours where decibel levels do come into effect. So it sounds like that would
And
be.
how do we?
And then it would be a plainly audible standard for operating radios, stereos, televisions, musical instruments, or other
Similar devices that amplify sound, if it's plainly audible, which means that you can be on your property at the measurement location, which is.
In my house with the windows closed.
Well, it's far enough, and if you can make out what's going on there, they would then be in violation without having to actually take a measurement reading. If it's during the day.
That's only at night.
Yeah.
For
Yes.
plain
Yeah,
audible.
Right,
but during the
but
day.
I'm assuming all the parties are happening at night, but.
No.
Well, then during the day, it would be those decibel readings to see if they are higher than the required decibel reading in a residential district, which I'm assuming they're located in.
And what is that decimal reading? And is that like
Decibel
a
reading would
app
be
from your
75
phone?
daytime. Oh, no, the police department through the township in line with this ordinance have purchased the,
It's the,
Type 1 or Type 2 sound level meter specifies the most current ANSI standard using the A-weighted network as specified in the most current edition of the ANSI standard or its successor.
So
Meaning
I
it's
need to
the-
reach out and make a complaint and they would come and do the reading?
Right, yes.
Okay.
And so they have the technical items at this point.
So I was actually going to ask a clarifying question on this before we closed. If someone has a complaint, is that a call to 911? Is that a call to our non-emergency number? Like, how does one go about reporting that in the most appropriate way?
It would be 911 to get an officer dispatched.
So our non-emergency number that goes to county radio and 911, they go to the same person. So we often get the, I don't want to bother you with the non-emergency, it goes to the same people. So either of those, what would slow our response down is if you call our office number, the one that goes into the station, all that's going to do is have us have to transfer with the county so we slow things down.
911.
So 911 is the answer. So if that's occurring during the day, 911.
Thank you.
I have so many questions. There are no other questions or comments from council or public. Oh, okay, please come up.
When will this be instituted?
Okay, so it goes into effect as soon as we vote on it, if we are to vote to support it tonight. Yep.
Cool.
As a result of your charter amendment? No.
Yes, as a result of the charter amendment that everyone voted yes for back in May, it will go into effect tonight.
But I also will just say, like, we need time to bring the staff up to speed. The officers, there's 40-some officers, not all of them are on duty at one time, so they work different shifts. They had to be educated by the command staff of this new ordinance and what to do, and same our code enforcement. That's not weeks, but like if we get a call at 9 a.m., probably that officer that went on, the shift first thing tomorrow morning is probably not even going to be told about it. So we have to, we're going to need a few days to bring the staff up to speed.
Well, we will now close this hearing and consider this ordinance later in our meeting. Next item up is the approval of minutes.
I move to approve the minutes as presented.
Second. Been moved and seconded. This is a voice vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Have it. Treasurer's report.
I was ready for everything else. There we go. The balance in the general fund as of June 30th, 2026 is $7,934,217.54. For the most part, the activity in all funds reflects budget expectations for June, with revenues in the general fund at 79.55% of budget and expenditures at 46.47% of budget. Our revenue stream remains flat, with expenditures increasing, especially for gas, utilities, snow and ice removal, and asphalt for our road paving projects. In addition, our capital projects continue to come in over budget due to inflation and construction costs. We will continue to monitor our financials. For a more detailed presentation of our current financial position, I would refer you to your monthly booklet.
I move to approve the list of checks in all funds from June 26, 2026 to July 8, 2026 in the amount of $515,035.20 and further move to authorize payment of same. I move to ratify the U.S. Bank credit card transactions for the month of June 2026 in the amount of $11,610.58 and further move to authorize payment of same. I move to ratify in the Horsham Township Charitable Fund in the amount of $36,771.89 and further move to authorize payment of same.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Next item up is to consider an ordinance amending the code of Horsham Township, establishing a new chapter 153 for noise.
I move to adopt the ordinance as proposed, amending the code of Horsham Township, establishing a new chapter 153 noise ordinance. Or noise.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. This is a roll call vote.
Mr. McCarty, how do you vote?
Aye.
Dr. Patterson, how do you vote?
Aye.
Ms. Thompson, how do you vote?
Aye.
Ms. Chunky, how do you vote?
Aye.
And Ms. Laff, how do you vote?
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
Quick question on this before I move on to the next item. Are we planning to advertise this across the township for broader circulation, in social media, et cetera, also to let the public know? Do we have a plan for that?
We can.
I believe you said before it would be in the newsletter in the fall. Is that?
Yeah, we can add something in the newsletter in the fall, yeah.
But
Yes,
ahead
we
of
can
that,
also-
can we do like a
also-
social media?
Social media, yes. Yep.
Horsham Chats would also be a great one, yeah.
Yep.
Well, do
You know, if you're watching.
Have a guy spinning it out on the road.
Do you volunteer for that job, sir?
I would hand-eye coordination.
Great. Next item up is, to consider a resolution establishing a time and place for a public hearing on the Rossiv Corporation, CO Ernest Stefkovic, 1026 Lime Kiln Pike, conditional use application 26-06-CU, Wednesday, August 5th, 2026 at 6 p.m. in the Horsham Township Municipal Building, 1025 Horsham Road.
This is just, some of you have seen the zoning hearing board application for this project. It's taking a property on Limekiln Pike and making 3 lots. It's one single-family home now. They're subdivided eventually and build 2 new homes. The property owner that lives in the house now will move into one of the new homes and stay in Horsham. But part of the project requires them to do some work in our riparian corridor, Zone 1 and 2, for their stormwater management facilities, which isn't something that's abnormal. So they need a conditional use to be able to do that. If they get their, as I said, they've already gotten the variances they need to move forward from the zoning hearing board. This is step 2. If they get their conditional use approval, then step 3, they'll submit their land development plans to the township.
This is just setting a time and place for that to occur.
Go ahead.
I move to adopt the resolution as proposed, establishing a time and place for a public hearing on the Rossiv Corporation, care of Ernest Stefkovic, 1026 Lime Kiln Pike. Conditional use application Wednesday, August 12th, 2026 at 6 p.m. in the Horsham Township Municipal Building, 1025 Horsham Road.
Second.
Moved and seconded. This is also a roll call vote.
Mr. McCarty, how do you vote?
Aye.
Dr. Patterson, how do you vote?
Aye.
Ms. Thompson, how do you vote?
Aye.
Ms. Chunky, how do you vote?
Aye.
And Ms. Laff, how do you vote?
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
Sorry. Quick clarification. In our agenda, it says one date. In the motions, it says a different date. Just want to
Motions is
confirm.
correct.
Got
Yeah,
it. Thank
August
you.
12th.
Perfect. Thank you.
So the next Horsham Township Council meeting will be held Wednesday, July 22nd at 6 p.m. right here. Horsham Farmers Market is every Sunday, June through October, 10 to 1 at the library. Concerts in the park. The next one will be next Thursday, July 16th. It will be Retro X Revival from 6:30 to 8 p.m. at Lucan's Park. There will be food trucks and bring your own lawn chair. National Night Out is Tuesday, August 4th, 6 to 9 p.m. at the Municipal Complex. And with that, meeting is adjourned.